load cancel, but how it canceled, I kind of feel like is good news for the trucking market. So the shipper balked at the price. It was a load of utility trailers. I'd agreed with the broker to move them for, it was right under $5 a mile, like $4.95 a mile. And so we agreed on this yesterday. This morning, I wasn't able to get my carrier packet stuff done because I was driving. So I didn't get everything into them until later yesterday evening. And when I called them this morning, they said they were still waiting on the shipper to agree to the price. I told them that I'd probably be held up for 2 or 3 hours, maybe getting unloaded, and I'd call them back. Well, when I called them back after getting unloaded, they said they needed 30 more minutes, and the shipper was still contemplating it. Well, 10 minutes later, they called me back, and they said the shipper is just going to leave them there. They're not going to move them. So I talked to the broker for a little while after that, and they did not indicate to me that they were trying to find a different carrier to move them for cheaper. They said they thought that was a fair market rate. And they didn't say that the shipper was able, it didn't sound like the shipper was able to find another carrier to move them for less than that either. So I don't know, it seems like fuel prices have shocked some common sense into carriers, and maybe people are not willing to haul cheap freight as much anymore. And I called another one of the guys I normally haul cable reels for, and he didn't even give me a price, like a total revenue price, but I just told him, I was like, I do need to know the minimum rate per mile. Like, I don't need to know the exact rate per mile, but I need to know it's at least going to be above a certain floor to make sure I'm not going to lose money just on fuel. And he said this load, and I know the approximate mileage on where it'd be going. He said it wouldn't be anything less than $3.50 a mile. And these are easy loads. They're not oversized, they're not difficult, they're quick load and quick unload kind of thing. And it's a lot closer. Like, I was gonna have to deadhead over 200 miles to get that other one. And these are like 130, 140 miles away from me. So I don't know. I mean, it sucks when a load cancels, but I didn't have a rate con. It was a verbal agreement. And the way it canceled, I mean, the cheap freight just sitting on the dock kind of thing, that's normally a good sign. You know, utility trailers are not really a valuable enough product to justify higher shipping costs. So the important things will continue to get moved. They'll pay up for it. But if the end consumer is not able to justify the added price of the product, then some stuff's just going to end up sitting around. And I hope that's happening with a lot more carriers and shippers and stuff around the country. I mean, it sucks that it's all because of higher fuel prices, because really nobody's winning in this scenario. But it is getting the prices up, and even when fuel drifts back down, I would imagine just the amount of the rate increases that we've seen will hopefully be an eye-opening experience for some of the carriers. Because you see there's still profit being made, obviously, at these higher rates. I mean, a lot of stuff's getting passed on, you know, to whoever's buying the product. But I just wanted to do a quick update on freight market rates, kind of what I'm seeing. The last load I hauled, I did one for $4.33 a mile. I'm in Louisiana, so these roads are terrible. This is I-20. This is not even a little highway. So I did one at 433. Got delayed on the receiving end, and it was a bigger tarp load. I told them it had to be an extra $1 per mile, and they didn't even try to negotiate. They just gave me exactly what I asked for. They went all the way up to $5.33 a mile for the next one that I just delivered. So the load before that, or the load in between those two loads, I did one other short load. It looked like it was around $7 a mile, but the cities were, it was one where they had posted it in a, this city, the pickup city was different, the delivery city was different. Well, both of them were further away from each other. So it was actually around $5 a mile. What I agreed to was around $5 a mile. But while I was talking to them, based on where they had it posted, I was looking at $7 a mile. Well, I talked to two other drivers that were picking up the same thing, and that broker would actually come out. I know for a fact they'd come up an extra $200 on top of what I got it for, because that's what they got it for. So I should have negotiated more on that one. But it seems like there's definitely higher freight rates. And if you think about it, the cost of fuel going up from, with the discount, I was around $3 before the Iran stuff. And now I'm somewhere between $4.25 and $4.50 with the discounts. Retail is over $5 everywhere, is what I'm seeing. But let's just say it's an extra $1.50. So divide that by 6 miles per gallon. If your previous floor was, let's say you weren't willing to haul anything for less than $2 a mile, well, that would mean your new floor should only be an extra 25 cents higher, like $2.25 a mile. I've been shooting to stay above 3 for quite a while now, just because of inflation and everything. Yeah, so it seems like the rate increases that I'm seeing, or that I've experienced over the past couple weeks, there's more on top. There's a little more meat on the bone on top of the added fuel cost. So, and then we got Delilah's Law that could, most people are focused on the dispatching side of that, but I shouldn't say most people, I really haven't looked into it that much, but there's a dispatching side, and then there's CDL requirements and English, like they're supposed to be getting rid of, if this goes through, I think it just got passed over to the House, but if it goes through, as it currently stands, there wouldn't be any translated CDL testing, so everything would have to be in English. I think that would be a good thing. There would be no more foreign dispatchers. And it's not like the U.S. government has any ability to regulate foreign dispatchers, but they would enforce it through the carriers. So through a carrier audit, they would investigate how they dispatch trucks and how the drivers are managed. And so there would be penalties, fines, some kind of punishment if they were using a foreign dispatch company. something else. I think they're getting more specific on the non-domiciled CDLs. I think those are going to be suspended, revoked, or whatever the terminology would be if it doesn't meet the new criteria. And I mean, there's still going to be non-U.S. citizens that are CDL truck drivers, but I think the criteria is becoming more stringent. So all of that sounds pretty good. I really hope it just passes as is from what I've seen. But I got to read through it and look into it a little more. But let me know in the comments, are y'all seeing higher rates out there? I'm sure you are. You can't be driving in this market and not seeing a pretty big increase in rates over the past couple weeks. But what rates are you seeing? And what do you think about I think I'm saying that right, Delilah's Law? I think it's named after some girl in California that got, I don't know, injured or maybe killed in an accident. But anyways, y'all take care and stay safe out there. I'll see you next time.